And as promised, after a spectacular victory over the number one team, I have a special guest here to dance for you.
Stibbidi dop 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 dop. Yes, 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 yes. Dip, stibbidi dip, stibbidi double, 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 double. Yes, yes, yes.
Welcome back, fake football managers, to another Manager's Message. That's right, we're already into week 10. Can you believe it?
Will this horrible year never end?
Last week, all the haves were beaten by us have-nots. Notice how I said us, because my team's been playing shitty too. But not this week. All of us crappy teams beat the junk out of you good guys.
You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds.
I do appreciate that the Seminoles and Wacky Razzles wanted to wait up for the rest of us. Don't worry, we'll be there really soon. Except for Dave, because even when he wins, he still ends up in last place.
Okay, this guy is a real zero, that's true.
Alright, let's start off with a review of last week's games. First up, the biggest beatdown of the week was Simply Slats' 57-point victory over the Austin, Texas G-Dog Warriors. What's going on, G-Dog Warriors? I mean, good lord, 77 points. Did you remember there was a game last week?
I forgot.
Sam Howell with 21 points was literally the only respectable score. The next highest score on your team was 13 points. That is not going to get it done. Simply Slats had the opposite problem. Basically everyone showed up for him. Only the random tight end that you plugged in and your kicker didn't really have that good of a game.
It's cool, I say.
You got over 20 points from 5 of your players. Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs, Deontay Johnson, Stephon Diggs, and the Raiders defense. Nice big score for the team, but you didn't need it because the G-Dog Warriors didn't even show up. Next up, we have the motherfucking Tumbles with a 44-point victory over the super duper Wacky Razzles. I'm just gonna say it right now, Tumbles isn't playing anymore. He's not playing games. The team has come to beat down the rest of us. I am not kidding. I'm afraid of this team.
I smell fear on you.
Super duper Wacky Razzles had a pretty good game. 124 points isn't that bad. Normally, you're gonna win, but not when your opponent puts up 168 points. Obviously, it's a lot easier to put up 168 points when your quarterback drops 54. Basically, your whole team came down to 3 of your players: CJ Stroud with 54, Dalton Schultz with 30, and the Cleveland defense with 31. The rest of your team wasn't really that amazing.
You weren't really shit, but you weren't all that great either.
Now, Super Duper Wacky Razzles didn't really get a very good game out of Tua and Tyreek Hill. CeeDee Lamb had another huge game with 31, but otherwise, a bunch of okay games. Nothing horrible, but definitely nothing that great. Honestly, decent games from both of you guys, but I'm definitely happy I don't have to get in the way of this giant boulder that is motherfucking Tumbles this week. Next up, the Polkai Panthers gave the number one team in the league this year a 29-point beatdown. That's right, I'm just as surprised as the rest of you. The Seminoles got some big scores out of their early window game players. I thought it was done from the beginning until Dak Prescott, T. Higgins, and oh yes, MVP of the week, the Chargers defense, came to win the game.
You play to win the game.
I think the main reason that the Seminoles didn't beat me this week was because the Chargers didn't need Herbert or Keenan Allen. The running game was doing really good, and the defense wasn't going to let the Jets do much of anything that whole night. Sometimes all you need is that perfect game plan, and by God, I got it. And even after taking this loss, the Noles are still 2 games up on everybody else, so I needed the win more than you did. Next up, our last place South Park Cows took on the Darkside Grey Wolf and won, and beat them by 18 points. Good job, Dave.
It's a Festivus miracle.
Joe Burrow, Amari Cooper, both with 27, and that's basically all you needed to beat a team that only could put up 83 points. Only a handful of your players even scored over 14 points. Even though you were playing the 10th place team in the league, you know that you have to score at least 102 points to beat Dave. You gotta win by scoring 101 points. Congratulations, Dave. I hate to tell you that your win streak stops now. And then finally, one of the most pathetic games we've had this season, Hostile getting a 9-point victory over the Deadly Venoms.
No, don't like that.
This was a dumpster fire, trash heap, meth head on fentanyl gone wrong. Hostile, pretty much the only players on your team that did any good were Jalen Hurts with 29 and Austin Eckler with 20. For Jerry, your highest scoring player was Aaron Jones. Let that sink in. Yeah, it's never good to hear that. Now, Haas's team was dreadfully bad, but Jerry's, yours was still just a little bit worse than that. I award you both 0 points, and may God have mercy on your teams.
These guys are a fucking disgrace.
Alright, I need to get the nasty taste of that game out of my mouth, so let's take a look at this week's matchups. First up, we have a battle of 2 of last week's winners, my Polk High Panthers versus the South Park Cows. The South Park Cows had DJ Moore going on Thursday night. He got 10 points. That's not amazing, but I think that you can live with that. I'm getting Amon-Ra St. Brown and Brandon Ayuk back. I guess I have to play Bijan Robinson. I really just don't have an option otherwise.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
But I just took out the first place team. I should be able to take out the 10th place team. Anything can happen, I know, but I'm banking on the Polk High Panthers to come through again. Sorry, Dave. Next up, we have the Dark Side Grey Wolf trying to get back on track, taking on Simply Slats. Dark Side Grey Wolf had Adam Thielen going Thursday night. He only got 10 points. I would be a little disappointed with that if I played Thielen. But again, not the worst thing in the world.
Could even be better.
The worst thing in the world for you is that Kansas City and Miami are on byes this week. That means no Mostert, no Mahomes, and no Mr. Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
I mean, sure, can Baker Mayfield, Javonte Williams, and Taysom Hill make up for that trio you lost? No, probably not. Simply Slats has a full team raring to go off a big victory. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs playing Denver this week should probably beat you just by themselves. ESPN is projecting for a big win for Simply Slats, and you know what? I agree with them. Sorry, Grey Wolf, you'll need some divine intervention to win this week.
Thumbs up!
Next up, the number 1 Seminoles taking on the now, out of nowhere, number 3 motherfucking Tumbles. That's right, Tumbles has put together 3 wins in a row, and now is coming across the juggernaut of the Seminoles. Just some inside information, Tumbles. He's beatable.
Nobody going to stop me.
The Seminoles already had Cole Kmet go on Thursday night, getting 9 points. CJ Stroud was a beast last week. I can't imagine that he puts up 54 again, but he did look really good, so I like your quarterback going forward. Jonathan Taylor has definitely seized that backfield, and Dalton Schultz is starting to come into his own too. I feel like this one's going to come down to however Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen fare in Detroit. I assume he's going to end up having to play Flowers, which is very boomer bust.
I think he's a bust.
ESPN currently is projecting Tumbles to win by 24 points. I do think this game is going to be closer than that, but no A.J. Brown for the Seminoles is going to put them in a very big hole. I think Tumbles just has the more stable lineup this week, and I would just hate to get in the way of this steamroller that is coming on down the avenue. Next up, we have the Austin, Texas G-Dog Warriors taking on the Deadly Venoms.
Ooh, yes, go time.
The Deadly Venoms got a pretty good start from the Panthers with 15 points. You have to be happy about that. The G-Dog Warriors are probably helped by the fact that Cooper Kupp is on a bye. He's been playing terribly the last few weeks. Anytime you're facing McCaffrey and Kamara at the same time, it can hurt really, really badly. Currently, ESPN has this game pretty tight at 111 to 115, giving the edge to the G-Dog Warriors. I think this game is going to be really close. I think it's going to come down to how good a game Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley have for the Deadly Venoms, and obviously how big of a game that Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara can have on the G-Dog Warriors side.
That would seem to be self-evident.
I feel like the G-Dog Warriors are not playing the style of football that they're accustomed to, and the Deadly Venoms are going to take advantage of that. Either way, I think this one is going to be the closest game of the week, so we'll just have to see how it ends. And then finally, Super Duper Wacky Razzle taking on Hostile. With Miami on a bye, the Super Duper Wacky Razzle are going to be in a pretty deep hole. No Tua, no Tyreek Hill. That's not going to help your team.
Help me, I'm gonna die! Tiny Rick!
But it's okay because Hostile is playing Josh Dobbs. As someone that's from Arizona, he should understand what a bad idea playing Joshua Dobbs is. But again, he's from Arizona, so he doesn't understand much. Also, you're going to need Eckler to have a gigantic game, and you need Debo to show up too. Travis Etienne needs like 16 touchdowns. I really just don't see a lot of greatness coming out of this team this week.
I can taste your stink.
Racky Razzles is going with Kyler Murray this week, so that actually could be a pretty decent substitute for Tua. And Najee Harris replacing Tyreek Hill, not that great, but that guy can easily score a touchdown any given Sunday. ESPN has Super Duper Wacky Razzles winning this game by 1 point. I actually think it's going to be by a lot more than that. Hassa, your team is not doing well. I think that the board of directors of Hostile needs to get together and fire that manager and get a new one in there ASAP. So as far as I'm concerned, Wacky Razzles gets it back on track this week, playing the dumpster fire of a team that is Hostile.
All that, my shirt's still tucked in. Pathetic.
All right, there we go. Week 10 all wrapped up in a tight little bonnet. Good luck this week to everyone who isn't playing the Pokai Panthers. Thank you guys for watching, and now here is your inspirational message of the week.
Now I got a little gift for you.
Oh, man.
Now wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Really, I don't need nothing.
Look at that. See that? This is the favorite thing that I have on this earth. And Rocky Marciano give me that. You know what it was? His cufflink. Huh? And now I'm giving it to you. And it's got to be like an angel on your shoulder, see? And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch!" Because Mickey loves you. Okay?
Thanks, Mick.
All right.
I love you too.
Go after him, kid.